Oh, hey. Welcome to Turnbuckle Bros. Well, hello and welcome back to Turnbuckle Bros. We have a special holiday edition for you today with our special guest, the one, the only, one of the great minds behind Diamond Mind Online and ImagineSports.com, Dayne Myers. Today, we have the highly anticipated Sim Santa episode. Welcome once again. Also, the Lime Ripper, the Blue Chipper, the Day Tripper, the King, the man who's going to take the right-handed team that no one believes in and make the playoffs, Steve Mutsu. Of course, I'm Matt Hewitt. So today, Dayne, welcome back to the show. We are going to go to the Sim Santa list on ImagineSports.com on the general board. All the wishes of all your users are going to be bestowed upon you, and you are going to grant them all.
All right, bring it.
Bring it. All right. Well, you know what? I hate to be cheesy, but actually, the very first wish on the list, I think, is a very good one. So it was the first one I wanted to bring up, and it's from a user, Passed Ball, which I'm sure you are well aware with, Dayne. And he brings up a couple of good times. Well, you know, he's got a couple of them on here, so I'll go ahead and read them all. But some that I like on here, so this is why I wanted to bring this one up. Passball says he wants more search fields to filter when picking players. I agree. Dayne.
I agree as well.
All right. So I had the team, our developer team, come up with estimates on how difficult, whether all the ideas were possible, which ideas were possible, which were not, or which were going to be just way too hard. They're all possible if you get down to it. But that one is, I'm pretty sure, let me find that one. But that's going to happen. We're going to do that, I would say, in the very near future. And I would put that in the realm of possibly sometime in the next 30 to 60 days.
Oh, very
beautiful.
Nice. Very nice.
A Christmas wish has been granted already out of the chute. I'm feeling it. Well, you know what? He asked like a couple of different things. I'm going to go ahead and bring this one up because I think this is something that me and Steve would like to see, if I can spit that out. But pitch counts for starting pitchers. Dayne, I know you love this topic. This is much needed here, buddy.
Yes. So pitch limits work has already begun, actually. We have run into a few hiccups, and the people who needed to fix the hiccups have had to, unfortunately, you know, the season ends. It's kind of all hands on deck to do the season, the 2021 season, because that's super important to the PC game customers and the online game customers like it as well, especially those who are doing dynasty leagues. So it's kind of like once the Major League season ends, it's all hands on deck for that. And then but that's wrapping up any day now, actually. And then, the PC game version wraps up now, and all the data then has to get dumped into the online game and then adapted to that. And that takes us a couple of weeks generally. So the pitch count limits, I think we'll go back and start looking at what we need to do to try and fix that once we get the new season up. But it's complex. It touches, the reason it takes a while, that one is pitch counts just touch a ton of things in the sim. So basically, whether how often, when we make changes, one of the things we have to look at is how many touch points are there inside the software. And the more touch points in the software, the longer it takes and the harder it is, because you both have to make sure you don't break other things. And then you got to test a lot more things. So pitch counts is one of those that just has a lot of touch points because it touches all sorts of managerial decisions. It affects fatigue, and all that jazz. So that one's a hard one, but it is going to happen. I just am not. I can't tell you yet when. Hopefully, sometime next year.
Dayne Myers, we are 2 for 2 already.
Yes, we are.
Yes.
That's a big one. I've been wanting that one for a long time. That's going to be. That's a good one.
I don't want to hang on pass ball too much, but you know what? The first 3 on here are really great. Speaking of fatigue, I'm just going to say this one, and then sorry, pass ball. I'm not going to your 4th question, or wish, I should say. An AllStar Break. And what he means by that is to allow to reset starting pitchers and reduced catcher fatigue. Ooh, that's very intriguing to me.
So this
it's interesting to me as well.
Times, and it's easy actually to do. The reason we haven't done it is, I guess it just seems a bit. It just doesn't make that big a difference. In Classic, it makes hardly any difference at all. SSG, to be honest, doesn't make any difference either. So I'm not sure that it's much benefit, but to do it, I think is very easy. That's just the only reason we haven't done it in the past. It's just, it doesn't seem to get a lot of demand, and I don't see a lot of benefit to it. But you know what? For our friend at Passball, he created the sim list, so he should get a freebie for this one. So we'll do it just for him.
Boom!
Oh, look at that!
Oh yeah,
oh,
baby!
Man. This is going great.
I know. All right, so. Let's move along here. Here's another one that I see here. Let's give a shout out to Hoosier Tex, who posted this one. He would like to display handness of batters and pitchers when in the watch game mode. That seems pretty cool.
You know what? He should just memorize them like the rest of us.
True Lime Ripper. Rip on that one, Hoosier. What do you think, Dayne? Display handness of batters and pitchers when in the watch game mode.
I don't. Where do you think it would go?
That's what I was thinking. I don't know.
Yeah, I have a. I mean, it's an interesting.
Could you leave the left-handers out? Just the right-handers.
You know what? I know what we can do. The players. We could at least, so putting it into the play-by-play itself, I think, is a non-starter. That's too complex. And just to add that little thing, I can't see that as, I just think it's too much trouble for what it's worth. What we could do, you see the players' names when they're on the field, right? We could put the little L or R for the pitcher, on the display, right next to their name.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. What else could you do?
Yeah.
Does the batter's name pop up on the right side of the plate he's on? I don't know if that happens or not, but that could.
It does, yes. The batter appears on whatever side of the plate he's on, if I recall. But the pitcher, yeah, I can see that being I guess it's something I never thought of as a big deal because they're all memorized pretty much in my head. I would say, with the exception of there's some of the single season guys in recent seasons that they come into. Because I watch play by play pretty frequently just to make sure everything's working right. And because if something's going wrong, you're going to see it there first and often. And I have found myself recently, but with a couple of guys who this guy, he was in 2017 and I don't even recognize who was it. Who was this guy? I never even heard of him. So your cup because you get more of the cup of coffee guys, obviously in the single season that, barely played. So you never heard of them. We will look into that. All
right. This question comes from some jabroni named Lime Ripper. And it's actually,
I don't even want to hear this one.
He didn't. I mean, this is just going to reiterate what we've all been talking about recently. And Steve actually brought up he cuts a good little promo here. So he says, Dayne, do things to help noobs first and foremost. Whatever it is, do that first. We're all getting older and we need new blood, mostly to spill, but we need new blood. And then he reiterates, pitch counts are the most important thing we need.
You've heard my spiel on pitch counts.
Yep.
The other thing we're going to do, somebody brought up indicating, so it makes it clearer to the customer what the original salary was. because a lot of people think of when they look for values, they say, oh, you know, he's down 15% from his original salary, must be a good deal. Some people think that way, and there's some truth to that if you believe we're good at estimating the value of the players and putting the right salaries on them. And which I don't think there is one correct answer to that question. So that's my official position there, and I'm not going to discuss any further. But I don't think there's any one right answer. But if you think we're generally correct and you see a salary is, 15, 20% below where we set it, then you probably think, yeah, that's chances are it's a good deal. So, but the newbies don't know that. They don't know where the first one was or what. They can see all the way to the bottom if they want. So we're going to do something to make that more clear. Charles has got some ideas on that.
That'll help.
That's gonna happen, and that'll happen soon.
Sweet. All right, another one, Diamond Miners. Let's go to Beer Baron from the board, and his request is being able to sort the cash worksheet by position or price. That's something I would like to see.
Sort by position.
So what
you can already sort it by price. That's been there from the beginning.
Yeah, I don't know what this one means.
Yeah. It sounded good. Shout out to Beer Baron.
I think what he means is by price it's always been there. Maybe he means by both, so that you could. So if you're searching all players, you would see like catchers first, then first baseman, then and they'd all be then sorted by salary.
I think that's what he means by that too.
I see.
And he also reiterated or added a little kind of sidebar to this. Having the cash worksheet available during manual drafts would be appreciated too.
Manual cash worksheet.
So while you're drafting, being able to access the cash worksheet, I guess.
So you could. He probably wants to be able to store players up, so he can just in the cash worksheet you got all these players you might want.
Got another idea. So yes, okay. So I think what we're going to do here is. One of the things I've always wanted to do is when you do a lot of fantasy drafts, you just do drag and drop. On one side, you've got the search, and the other side, you just pull it over. We're going to do something like that.
Ooh.
Yeah, that'll be nice.
That should happen this coming year, yes.
That would be nice.
One of the things we think not only helps all of you, and all of you would like, is but even more to make the newbies like it more is to make the drafts. Sorry, a little dog asking for my attention.
Sleigh bells.
So is to make the draft easier to do. So anything we can do to make the draft easier to do is, I think, worth doing. And so we'll do something like that. So I think that would help. With the Beer Baron suggestion, whether we could do the sorting that way, that's going to be tough. Because I think that would require a major rework. It's the thing about software is often that when you, once you build it one way and then you realize later down the road, oh, hey, I want to do this. You find out, oh, well, the software was written in a way that makes that really tough. And I think the cash worksheet's probably in that category. But I think we can help solve that problem by this idea of the drag and drop.
Yeah, I think it will too. That'll he'll get his Christmas present just from that.
I hope.
I like it. Well, let's kick it to our homeboy, Bawdy B, Chris Baud. This is what he had to say. He would like to see defensive game logs and base running data, situational stats. So let's hit it.
Yes.
Let's hear it, Dayne.
So there's a whole slew of stats that didn't really have much popularity when we built the original game that have now become a big deal. WAR, O-WAR, D-WAR. Sorry, my dad is trying to call me. And
Hi, Dad.
Not now, Dad. Now I forgot what I was saying.
WAR. You're talking about WAR.
Oh yeah, WAR. So it's WAR and situational stats, like the base running stats. So this has been a bug for Charles. He's wanted to do this for a while. So he's got on his plate But he's also got the other big project of the Negro League redo, all that stuff on his plate too. So, but we are determined that this is the year you'll get a whole bunch of new stats. And situational stats, I think, is a great one. The war kind of stats is another, but we're definitely going to do that this coming year.
Awesome.
I can't guarantee that Satan will get all that he particularly wants, but
Sim Satan.
We'll do our best to get as many of those. We might just create a thread of what are all the stats you want to see. I know another one is run support.
Ooh.
People have been asking that. I mean, although it's kind of like we never did run support because I think it's a misleading and pretty meaningless stat. I mean, I know people like it, but I mean, it depends on your team, right? It doesn't depend on the pitcher.
Yeah.
It just tells you. I mean, you could pretty much. Okay. What do you guys think?
I like it. I would like to see some stats like that. What Bod was saying.
No, I'm talking about the run
war
support.
And all that would be great.
Yeah,
a lot of them would be great. Some of them are,
We're gonna do war. I think. This war was one in particular, and then some of the situational stats.
Well, right on. Let's go to Mr. Dan Devine, who would like to see the standard SSG cap reduced to 100 million. Dan, I'm going to have to go ahead and say I don't like that very much. I like my 130. I use every penny of it. It helps me tremendously. Dayne, what do you think about that?
It's 120, isn't it?
Is our league 130, Steve, that we're in right now?
Yeah, we're in a custom league, though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
well, even
120 standard. What we're going to do in standard SSG, is change it to a single season, and then occasionally change the season. And then I think Charles is going to do that, and I think he is going to lower the cap to 110, I think, but not all the way to 100. Kind of a compromise, but I'll have to double check with him on that.
Nice.
So, but I mean, one of the things is it's taking the single season standard leagues aren't as popular as we had hoped. People like the custom leagues better, and part of that is I think the player pool is just massive, right? In single season, and so it's hard to jump in and draft a team. And other people are always those who play single season much more are gonna have an advantage, and they know who get that guy who's got those great reverse splits or something. And so we thought, it also isn't. If you want to get the game to be its most realistic, you should play single season in 1 year, and that's a limited pool. You can't build a team of all stars. You can't build a team with all ex defenders. You just you have to do it that way. It's more like the way it is, and so. And then we can feature certain seasons and write stories about them, and you can do podcasts about them, whatever. You know what I mean? It can turn into a fun thing, I think, as well.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea.
That is a great idea.
I really like that idea.
All natural, that is, the truest form of it that there is. You have to draft well. You're forced to manage well. You're forced to really pay attention and make the best of what you have, make moves, trades. All that kind of stuff. That is simulated baseball. That's fantasy baseball at its finest, right there, in my opinion. All right, let's move it right along. A guy who's all over the boards all the time. I think I might have played a league with him before. Tons Maniac, always on there. Fan of the show. So shout out to Tons Maniac.
Yes.
Yep, Tonzilla. So he would like to see this. He's got a couple things on here. I'll just go ahead and read all three of them because they all kind of relate to each other. Tons Maniac would like to see a place for all the previous winners of tournaments. And what he means by that is a click on a Masters tournament. And so you can see the past winners and who made the finals. You'd be able to click on a, GOT tourney, see the same thing. And I like this one right here, and I think you will too, Dane. Also, he would love to see a wall of memoriam that has listed all the names and player IDs of the people who are no longer with us. I think that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, these are both ideas I want to do for a long time. The memorial thing is fairly easy. We can do that, and we will do that. But the tournaments thing, the estimate the guys gave me, it seems way too long. I think they're misunderstanding what I want them to do. I think what they're talking about is setting up a tournament thing, so you can just register for tournaments rather than having just post on the board, which we want to do as well. So I think we will certainly do the little tournament section and the memorial section this year. Tournament registration, I think, will take longer. So yes, Santa says yes.
All right, another yes. We're getting all kinds of yeses out of Dane. I know.
Now, what I didn't tell you to say is when.
Yes.
But if I said yes, it's something we're going to try and do in 2022.
Okay. All right. I think the Dayne Myers would be happy with that.
Right.
This is kind of a smaller one, but I want to give him a shout out. Circle Change 3, our homie Circle Change that plays in me and Steve's rookie base progression league, who Steve battles it out with quite a bit on there. He would like to see the ability to move teams from active to completed sooner. And he says there's another thread with strong support on this. And Dane, he says, thank you for listening. So shout out to Circle Chains. What do we got to say about that?
Yeah, that's, I don't think that should be difficult. Let me check my list here and see if that was made the list of that's on our list already of things to do.
Hey, Steve, do you have?
You know what? We're gonna try and do that in January.
Ooh, we got a time frame on that one. Nice.
Yeah, that's it. That's an easy one, and it never even occurred to me that people wanted that. So as soon as I heard it, I'm like, oh yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, I mean, when you complete a league, you kind of see that previous team on there for a little while. While your next league is going, but I mean. Doesn't bother me too much, but it wouldn't
bother me either. I mean, in fact, I like looking at my old teams are so great that
I think the Lee May Ripper's starting to wear off on you, Dane. Oh boy.
Well, I think it's like this: if the team did well, you like seeing it sitting there. If it did poorly, it's like get that thing off my view. I don't want to see that.
All right, Steve. What do you want to hit Dane with? I know you got some wishes here.
Well, somebody asked. I don't know who it was, but somebody asked about. When you search their defense, it just shows all their defensive positions and ratings every time, so we can just see everything. You know what I mean? Like if you pull up George Scales, you see that he's average at every position, which I think he might be something like that.
Yeah, I saw that one.
That one would be super useful.
It'd be useful, but it's not that difficult. It doesn't, there aren't a lot of players that play enough multiple positions that you'd use them at. This doesn't. I'm going to have to be convinced that's a high priority one. That a lot of people want that rather than just a few people. Because it's not that it's easy to. Okay, you search for second baseman, you see George Scales. Oh, he also plays shortstop, so just add to your field. Shortstop. It's not that difficult.
You only have 10. I mean, if you give me more fields, I'll do that.
We're going to give you more fields. I only have
10 right now.
We're giving you more fields. I already said that.
Oh, yes, he did already say we're getting more fields.
There we go.
The more fields has been blessed.
Oh, yes.
All right. Well, then we don't need it. You already took care of it. I should have never said a word.
Deck the halls with more fields. Fa la 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 la. All right. Here's one from our homie and friend of the show, Larry Mack. And I like this one too. Larry Mack says, Dane, on the fielder rating page, remove pitchers. You can put the pitcher's fielding ratings on the pitcher's rating page instead. I think that's a cool idea.
Nobody cares about pitcher fielding.
Maybe we should just put it on both.
That might be a fair compromise.
Because, think about it. You know what's going to happen.
Just leave it off. Nobody cares.
Sorry, Larry Mack. Oh, give me a shout out,
if you
Larry.
think about it, if you move it to pitcher ratings, there's gonna be somebody who says, "Hey, I look on fielder ratings and I never see the pitcher. I want to know what the pitcher." I guarantee it's going to happen.
Nobody's ever done that.
I would say this is as much as I'm a fan of Larry Mack, and I think he's one cool dude, and he's been very, very helpful to Imagine Sports. Both by he created the Mack scores, he created system, he created if you saw the massive spreadsheet that goes into the salary calculations, it is a monstrosity, and he whipped that up in days. I mean, he's a rocket scientist when it comes to that sort of stuff, and he came up with all that, and man, it's awesome. So, but this idea strikes me as not particularly, it'll be on the list, but way down the list.
Well, all right.
And Larry can ping me if he doesn't like it.
Shoot him a DM, Larry.
I had to say no to something.
Yeah.
I mean,
here's one that a few different people chimed in on, even the Lee May Ripper himself. Not sure how I feel about it, but looks like the user by the name of Brian Odd, however you pronounce it. Brian
O'Donnell, yes.
Yeah, Brian O'Donnell would like to see 5-minute live drafts, 5 minutes to make a draft pick.
Yeah, I love that idea.
Might even be done by the end of the month.
Oh yes.
That might be a true Christmas wish, Brian.
That's an easy one. And we actually had that in it before, and this is what's going to happen. But Brian runs his drafts really well, so hopefully he can contain this. But we had this in the beta version of the game way back when, 5 minutes, and so many people complained that I just started looking for a player and my time was up. Well, okay, we're going to do it, but warning, warning. So I think we might even have a pop-up warning that says your draft has a 5-minute deadline, or maybe we put in the when you set up the league, it'll say, "Are you sure about that, Brian?"
With the drag and drop setup, it might help with the smoothness of it all, and might be able to get it done.
Yeah, so we'll give it a go. Fingers crossed.
It would probably be to my detriment because I'm one of those guys that gets busy with stuff sometimes, and Steve's like, "Hey, you bastard, you're holding up the draft. Make your pick." Oh crap! All right, and then I go and do it. So I
got one which was, "Where are you? Where are you? You're up. You're up." And I'm like, "I'm walking the dog. The dog had to go out." I mean, come on.
All right, I say we do maybe one or two more. I know Steve's got something he wants to drop on you, Dane. I just saw this here. This might be kind of cool. This comes from Steffens, or maybe Stephen S. Not sure. Shout out to Steffens. He says he would like to add the Major League debut year as a search option for the SSG catalog. Add the MLB debut year as a search option for the SSG catalog.
Ooh. So those kind of ones with special things like birthdays and the players who born on such and such a date or year, and this kind of thing, debut year, that's really, really hard given our current system. So this is something we'd like to do because sure, we'd like to help all those guys who like to run special leagues like that. It's just tough to do. So it's on our list, but it's going to be a while.
All right. You know what, Steve? I think it's time for you to drop it on him. This is going to be the last Sim Santa request this year.
First,
Dane,
is there any Dane you wanted to talk about that we didn't mention?
Well, interesting enough, so not only did I review the list that was on the board, and to both our friend Passball and everybody else who contributed to the Sim Santa list, we actually look at it every year. And we don't respond necessarily to every little thing because we don't want to create, expectations in case we can't get to it. But in fact, I went back and looked at some of the past ones. We've actually done a number of the things that were on the list in the past. But I went and did go look at a bunch of the items from past lists that still were not done, and then from this year's list. There's actually enough that we think we can do that we're going to actually do one thing from a Sim Santa list every month. So at least yes.
Wow.
So from now on, every month we're going to do something on the list and implement it.
The 12 months of Christmas.
So it's Christmas every
the 12 months of Christmas.
Yeah, the 12 months of Christmas.
Because they're
that's what it is.
So here's one that like we're going to do pretty quick. We've got a number of requests. It's surprising. I don't think I've ever heard this request maybe more than once a year. And then suddenly in the last month, we've gotten like a couple dozen. And it's to put the roster value, how much total value is the roster on the roster page.
Well, you know why? It's because we've been talking about it on the podcast. We talked about it with you once, and we talked about it with Charles too.
Yeah, so see, you guys are having influence here. And so now we've got a whole bunch of requests. So driven by, Turnbuckle, we will be adding that to the roster pages. And let's see if another one that, owner versus owner results. I've never done that because I thought it made people feel bad, if they did poorly against someone, but people seem to want it. So owner versus owner statistics, how do you do in your games against other owners? I mean, this will pop the LeMay Ripper myth, but that, hey, people need to know. It's got to be fact-based.
You see a bunch of ERA spiking when they put when they compare.
And then another thing is we're going to enable scouting of other owners so you can see who their favorite players they use the most frequently and pitchers they use the most frequently.
I like that.
That was on one of the lists. I don't remember if it was this year or last year or something like that. And so we figured out a way to make that easier to do. So we're going to implement. That's another one that's going to come in the near future. Again, not making a commitments as to what order these are going to be in, but we're going to do at least one of these things that we talked about today every month. Let's see. I'm looking for a couple more here. A couple of things down the road I want to do. So, I mean, Steve, you can put this thing about having, Wild Thing in the game, that's
We've been waiting to drop that on you, Dayne.
Yep, that's it.
Do it now.
All right.
I don't know if you remember about 10 years ago when this fine, outstanding young man was perusing through the catalog and he saw Spotswood Poles and Willie Wilson. He was like, wait a minute. These are the same guys. I just think we need to do that again. And Kenny Lofton and Willie Mays Hayes are the same guy.
Boom.
You link their prices, whatever. And then, we get to have Roy Hobbs and hit me with some names. Pedro Serrano. We got to get all these guys in there.
Ricky Vaughn, the Wild Thing. Benny the Jet Rodriguez from the Sandlot.
Who doesn't want Benny?
Who doesn't want that?
Tris Speaker, Benny the Jet. Let's go.
Okay. So here's the most fundamental reason. Look, one, this is a serious game for serious people. But in all seriousness, boom. The real reason is those are trademarked. We can't legally even use those names.
Oh, you know what? I didn't even think of that. Damn,
me neither.
You would have to license those somehow. Oh, shit.
Whereas players who actually played, the federal courts have ruled that those names are in the public domain.
Oh.
Not the images, not their images, but their names and their statistics are once the game is over, that's history now, and history is in the public domain. But something created in a fictional work, like a movie or a book, is off limits. Copyright.
Okay, I've created a workaround. Can you give me the option to name my player?
So what I think we want to do, the Diamond Mine PC game has the ability to create your own player.
Ooh,
so nice. I think
create a player. Yes.
We will try to do is bring that into the game, into the online game somehow.
So we can finally have Sam Malone as a left-handed reliever.
Yes.
You could even have Steve Mutsu as a closer.
He can't throw.
Who would?
He's got the yips.
He's got the yips. He can't even throw.
I got the yips. I went my whole life. I could feel great. I could never hit good or nothing, but I could always feel great. And then one day when I was about 30, I was playing third base, and I just could not throw the ball to first. I still can't. I can't do it no more. I moved to short. That didn't work. I moved to second. That didn't work. I tried playing first base, but that's too boring. I couldn't do it anymore. I legitimately can't throw the ball to first base anymore. It's just I don't know what happened. One day, boom, done.
Well, Steve Sachs feels your pain.
Didn't that happen to like Chuck Knobloch?
Yep, Knobloch had that too.
Yeah. Of course, the Rick Ankiel had one of the worst ones ever. Oh man,
I didn't even know that story, to be honest. But
Rick Ankiel, he was the next big thing coming up as a rookie Cardinals pitcher in like 2000. He was a phenom. They brought him up. He was just amazing. Cards made the playoffs that year. He pitched 3 great innings, and all of a sudden, he couldn't throw the ball.
This was game 1 against Maddox.
Yeah, like he grew up a Braves fan. Maddox is his hero. He's pitching against them, and he's pitching great against them. 3 innings, striking guys out. Lead. Yeah, 6-0 lead. All of a sudden, he's throwing balls over the catcher's head. He's bouncing them in front of the plate. He can't throw a strike again to save his life.
Now I remember. Yes.
And MLB Network did a great documentary on it. I found it on YouTube. The
same sort of thing happened to Steve Blass. I don't know if you remember, but Steve Blass he should have won the Cy Young Award in 71 or 72. I don't remember both years he was great, but one of them he was particularly great. And I think he got robbed. But he was lights out in the 71 World Series. Had a great 72, and then he just could not throw a strike anymore starting in 73. They had his eyes examined. He got glasses. They did all sorts of things. Nothing just seemed to work, and he was out of baseball in a couple of years.
Anxieties.
Mackie Sasser couldn't throw the ball from catcher back to the pitcher. Remember that?
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
Oh,
that's the worst.
Boy, that's tough, man.
Well, everybody, there you have it. Sim Santa 2021. You heard it from the horse's mouth himself, Mr. Dayne, Michigan Wolverines fanatic Myers over here.
Playoffs, baby. Playoffs.
Yep. So thank you, Dayne, for granting all of the Christmas wishes to all your great Diamond Miners. The 12 months of Sim Santa Christmas in 2022, everybody. You heard it straight from Dayne himself. A lot of awesome things coming up, and there was mostly yeses, man. So this is good
all
stuff.
Yeses. Except for me. Yes. I didn't get a yes, but everybody else got a yes.
Well, of course you don't get a yes. Yeah. You talk too much. You talk too much. You better shut up.
You still got to get a league going, gentlemen.
Yep, we got to get a Turnbuckle league going.
We're waiting for DVD.
Yeah, a lot of stuff in the works. And Turnbuckle Bros and Diamond Mine Online want to wish all of you out there a Merry Christmas as well. Thank you all for supporting the show. There's a lot more to come. There's a lot more between us and Diamond Mine to come. More on that stuff later. Lots and lots of good things in the works. Merry Christmas to all of you. Thank all of you for supporting the show, for supporting the site. Let's get some New Year's on here. Let's get some new blood to spill, just like the Lime Ripper said. So for Mr. Dayne Myers and the Lime Ripper himself, this is Matt Hewitt saying adios.